In this video, we will learn about alerts and notifications in the Nerdio Manager. This feature is available starting with version 2.8. Nerdio Manager works on a task-based system, and all the actions that it performs are logged as tasks. And you can see all of those tasks by going to the log section, or you can see them in every page within the context of the module that you're working with. All of the tasks appear on the bottom here. The tasks have a specific task type, a resource or a target upon which they're acting, a user who initiated the task, a status with which it completed, and also the start and end time, as well as various details associated with a particular task. Alerts and notifications allow you to get email alerts that can be configured based on various conditions that apply to the tasks that Nerdio Manager runs. Let's go ahead and take a look at how that works. The first step is to enable notifications, which is done through the Settings Nerdio Environment page. And you will notice a tile called Email Notifications. Once you click on the current status, if it's currently disabled, you can turn it on by clicking OK. And you will notice that there's going to be a new menu added on the left side navigation menu called Notifications. You will also notice that you'll have a link mailbox button or link here. When you click on this link, it is going to ask you to log in as a user that has an Exchange Online mailbox associated or mailbox SKU associated with that user in your Azure Active Directory. And that user can be used as the send from address when configuring notification actions. The two requirements for the user that you can use, and you can use more than one, so you can have different alerts going out under different send from addresses. The two conditions are as follows. Number one, you need an Exchange Online mailbox associated with the user. And number two, that user must have any role in the users and roles page in the Nerdio Manager. So that user must have an Exchange Online mailbox and have any role on this users and roles page. Once you do that, you will see the username listed, and you'll be able to add multiple send from addresses. And there's going to be a test button next to the email where you can click test, specify a send to address, and just test the email flow, which is going to happen via API through Exchange Online. Once email notifications are enabled and you have added a send from address, you can then go and configure conditions for when you want to send those notifications. So let's go ahead to notifications and conditions. You will notice there will be several conditions on this page that have been pre-configured for you for various common scenarios. For example, if you wanted to get notified on all failed tasks, you will see that there is a condition here that says apply to any target, any task run by any user when it terminates with a status of error. You can also get notified on all successful tasks, similar configuration with a status of completed. You can get notified for any autoscale errors in any target, any task run by the background autoscale user, which is what the autoscale engine uses, that terminated an error, etc. And you can see there are several others that are pre-configured here. For example, if you want to know if you want to get notified anytime there is a role-based access change that happens through the Nerdio Manager, you can leverage this condition, which basically says if any target is affected and the following tasks are executed, add role to users, update users' roles, or remove users' roles, and it's run by any user, whether interactive or background, and it terminates with any status, whether it's completed successfully or error or canceled, you will get notified if you use this condition. If we click the add button, you can add any custom condition. So let's say custom condition right here. Here you can select your targets. Your targets could be either any, this will apply to everything. You can say any tenant if using WVD Classic, any workspace, or any host pool. You can specify specific tenants, specific workspaces, or specific host pools to service target. So if I want to notify on any personal host pools, for example, I can do something like this, and I could have a specific condition that applies to all of my personal host pools. Then you get to choose the type of tasks you want to be notified on. Again, any is the default, but you can select any activate host pool, activate session host, and there's literally hundreds of different tasks that are sorted alphabetically in this particular dropdown, and you can decide which ones you want to be notified on. Then you can choose which users must run the task for it to match the condition. It could be any interactive user, which means any user logged into the Nerdio Manager and actually clicking buttons interactively. Could be any system user or any REST API client. If you're leveraging the REST API, this would be any of those users. And then you can actually specify specific users in your environment whom you may want to include in this list. And then finally, under statuses is where you select what the terminating status is. Again, any is the default. You can have a canceled status completed, which is a successful task, or an error. And you can select, let's say, notify me on completed or canceled, and that will create a condition like this. So once we do this, we can one other thing that I wanted to mention here, in addition to interactive users listed here, we also have specific system users that can be selected. So for example, autoscale user, host pool migrator user, host pool scheduler, and various other system type users that are just beyond, that are more specific than any system user. If you want to be notified on specific categories of actions, then this can be done with these users right here. Once you click OK, this is going to add your custom condition. You can see the targets you've selected, your tasks, your run by users, and your statuses. Once a condition is created, it is not automatically active. Nothing will happen when you create this condition. In order for something to actually happen, you need to create an action. When you click on actions, you will see a list of actions. This list will be empty by default. And here you can add an action by clicking the add button, selecting your send from address, which is one of the addresses defined on the settings Nerdio environment page we looked at earlier. Here you can specify some email address or addresses separated by commas. This could be distribution list, this could be individual users. And then you can choose which conditions you want to be notified on. So let's add our custom condition to the list. I can add multiple conditions to this list to apply that this action would act on. And once we click OK, you will notice that I have added my condition. And now anything that matches these sets of parameters is going to trigger an email from this email address to this email address within a couple of minutes of that task actually completing. You will notice that this task is currently enabled while this one is disabled, and we can activate or deactivate a particular task. So if I wanted to, instead of deleting a task, if I wanted to put it on hold and deactivate it, I would click deactivate and the status would change to being inactive. And the same thing to activate it. I can obviously edit both my condition and my action, and I can delete it once I'm done with this particular condition. So this is what notifications and alerts are all about. It allows you to use an Exchange Online mailbox to send email alerts to one or more email addresses based on conditions that match to the tasks. Lots of different use cases here. If you want to be notified on any errors, if you want to be notified on security related changes, if you want to be notified when someone assigns themselves to a workspace, or when a particular script is run, So really, anything you can imagine can be configured, and you can get additional visibility into what is going on in your WVD environment when it's managed with the Nerdio Manager for WVD. Hope you found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos.